Hello, I'm Victor and this is The Junkyard. This month's roundtable theme of the pleasant surprise is a bit problematic for me. You see, the idea of a movie that you go into expecting it to be bad, but you end up falling in love with it after you've seen it, that's nothing new to me. Do you think I went into Blackula expecting it to be the best vampire movie I've ever seen? In any case, for this particular review, I had to really rack my brain for something that fit the description, and it finally came to me.
See, I don't much care for anime. I've seen a few pieces, be they old or new movies or shows, with many different tones and themes, and wasn't really impressed by any of them. Your general anime fare seemed to be a lot of androgynous characters yelling with exaggerated expressions, wandering through scattered plots and drawn-out fight scenes. But after I posted my Victor Explains Anime video, a viewer named Tseuhadon recommended a few animes, one of which I had never heard of. Death Note.
So I looked it up, read the premise, decided it looked interesting, and ordered the first disc in through Netflix. I figured I'd give it a look. Well, 9 discs and 14 hours of looking later, I'd watched the entire series. So now, today, we are going to be reviewing Death Note.
By the way, I've put off reviewing this for a while because A, I want to do it justice, and B, I don't want to spoil anything. So this won't be a standard Junkyard recap-based review. That said, let's look at the basic plot. Teenager Light Yagami finds a notebook dropped by Ryuk aboard Shinigami, or God of Death. It turns out that if you write someone's name in the book, they die. Light, having long worried about the state of society, starts writing down the names of criminals in a megalomaniacal effort to create a better world. One overseen by him, of course. Soon he's being opposed by a detective calling himself L and his team. What results is a cat-and-mouse game where two geniuses try to outmaneuver each other. L tries to figure out who Light is, Light tries to figure out who L is, both functioning under their own unique limitations. Light ends up doing much the same with Nier, a character introduced later in the series.
And that's all I'll tell you about the story itself. I need to stress here that I, a man whose hobby is to systematically spoil movies, does not want to spoil this.
But I will go into what I like about it. First of all, it really is gripping, edge of your seat, and a variety of other cliches. You want to know what happens next. The amount of physical action that takes place is minimal, especially in the first half, but it's still exciting. The conflict between Light and L seems as fast, fluid, and dangerous as a sword fight. There's almost nothing wasted here. Everything serves the plot, even characterization. It resorts to Deus Ex Machina's very rarely, and justifies it each time. Very exciting, very solid writing.
The characters, meanwhile, are an effective mix of new ideas and old Japanese anime standards. I should mention that the voice acting in both the English and the Japanese dubs were pretty much outstanding across the board.
Light is an interesting character. Upon getting the Death Note, he goes from concerned citizen to megalomaniac like he had a switch installed. Normally this would be the mark of lazy writing, but here it offers an interesting take on absolute power corrupting absolutely. At one point in the story, Light gets a chance to see himself as he would have been without the Death Note, and he's a perfectly normal, if smart and justice-seeking person. Light actually anticipated that this would be the case, that his corruption was simply the way someone of his intellect would go about exploiting the power he got. Meanwhile, Ryuk was great. He basically served as the impartial observer of events, yet he was still a part of the story. And he was fun. While Light is passionate to the point of mania, Ryuk is just there for the show. And apples. L, however, tends to steal the show. A quiet, eccentric, sugar-loving genius, he arguably has a looser moral code than Light, though both have a fierce sense of justice. Both he and Light manage to skate just on the right side of that thin line that separates super genius characters from impossibly omniscient characters. Sherlock Holmes, for instance, spent a lot of his stories skating on the wrong side of that line.
And by the way, I was going to do the video segments of this review in a posture that fans of L would recognize, but I discovered that a 250-pound man can't hold that pose and breathe unless he's 8 feet tall.
Misa Amane serves as a constant potential wildcard. Light manipulates her like everyone else, but she can't quite be controlled. She's invaluable to the story, which makes the fact that she's an unbearably annoying character quite upsetting. Also, while I do like the characters in L's Special Task Force, the character of Matsuda was a little overdone as the less mature, outspoken guy. He came off as a bit cartoony. As for the characters introduced in the second half of the series, Nier and Mello, while they were entertaining and well-done additions, I do think they took away somewhat from the reality-grounded feel of the first half. However, the writers did compensate by raising the stakes in action.
Beyond story and characters, I can only comment on the art. It's beautiful, and it allows the characters the full range of emotion that's needed for such an intimate story. I haven't watched enough anime to really make any more points than that.
But while we're here, why don't I look at a couple of other Death Note related things, namely the original manga and the live-action movies. I haven't read through the whole manga yet, but so far it's pretty much word for word like the anime. I've never seen a more meticulous adaptation of source material, though I'm to understand that this is a bit more common with animes. The live-action movie, on the other hand, yeah. I'll say this, it would have been straight out impossible to do a proper movie adaptation without making it insanely long. So being charitable, I'd say they managed to make something fairly entertaining for an audience with low expectations.
And that just about covers my feelings on Death Note. It was an amazing series that I fell in love with, and it's left me a little bit more open-minded towards anime I might not have otherwise looked at. Anyway, this has been Victor with The Junkyard. Thanks for watching and have a good day. Hey guys, yeah. If you'd like to see some of the other Roundtable reviews for this month, just follow this link. Should point out that this is going to have a bunch of very talented reviewers looking at stuff they wouldn't have otherwise admitted to liking, so you ought to check it out. No, seriously, check it out or I sick pin puppy on you.